It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. As the storm system in the plains moves further east, storms are likely to redevelop from the Ohio Valley into the southern plains today. Severe weather will once again become a concern, especially over portions of the mid-Mississippi into the lower Ohio valleys. Widespread heavy rains are not expected, but locally heavy accumulations resulting in isolated flash flooding is possible. Closer to home, warm temperatures, dry conditions, and light afternoon breezes can be expected through the remainder of the work week. High temperatures today and tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 80s, flirting with 90. By the weekend, a slight chance for showers and storms will exist here in Otero County. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. Last night at the Tularosa Village meeting, Anna Fresquez, the Senior Center Director, asked approval for a resolution adopting the ICIP for fiscal years 2024 through 28.
Have to keep up to date. Everything has to be maintained. It has to be serviced regularly for it to be safe for our seniors. So, that's what I've been doing this past year. And now I think that it's time for me to adopt an infrastructure plan and figure out how we're going to keep our senior center up to date and have everything that we need and reach out to the state and get all of those funds to do what needs to get done.
The mayor agreed.
I actually think that she's doing a good job we need to get this approved.
The resolution was passed. Mayor Debbie Cooksey requested the transfer of Patrick Moratino from telecommunicator to director of the police department.
The chief is the only person we have right now. The chief cannot do paperwork, grants, and run the streets. And we're hoping that this will help the chief to be able to run the streets, little less paperwork for him. Patrick's going to work on the grants for the Tularosa Police Department. He's also going to be the coordinator for the DUI machine, the key operator that is. He's going to help out in any way he can to make this life for the chief less stressful.
The resolution was passed. Mayor Cooksey made a request for the approval of the appointment of Gordon Kemp to code enforcement officer as well as evidence tech at a pay rate of $15 per hour.
Mr. Kemp has a very positive attitude. Instead of trying to make our ordinances on our cops, which we don't have in the first place, and even if we do have cops, we have them out patrolling. We don't have time for them to stop in, give warnings, then next give tickets and keep going on. You guys asked me, one of my campaign promises was to clean this town up, to get it cleaned up so that we could have a nice, beautiful town again. This is what I'm doing, trying to hire this person outside of the police. He belongs to the police department, but he's outside of being a police department person, other than he does nothing but ordinances and evidence tech.
Resolution was passed. Kemp will be trained in part by the city of Alamogordo. Several other issues were discussed, and you can see the meeting in full on the Village YouTube channel. Mayor Cooksey was not physically present due to having recent surgery. We do wish her a speedy recovery. Last night, the regular board meeting for the Alamogordo Public School Board was held.
Consider approval to authorize legal counsel to proceed as discussed in executive session regarding Human Rights Bureau complaint, which is an action item.
Issue passed.
Consider approval of the 2024-2025 Alamogordo Public Schools calendar, which is an action item.
That issue passed.
And next on our agenda, in our capacity as advisory board to New Mexico State University Alamogordo, consider approval of the NMSUA fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget, and that's an action item.
That issue passed.
Consider approval of resolution 2023-2024-09, month April of the military child, and this is an action item, and I'll read the resolution. Resolution 2023-24-09, resolution of the Alamogordo Public Schools Board of Education. April is the month of the military child. Whereas today, over 1 million Americans are bravely serving in the United States Armed Services, and 14,330 are serving in New Mexico. Whereas 8,161 children in the state of New Mexico are members of military families, and whereas students who have parents in the military may experience 6 to 9 different schools during their K-12 education. And whereas frequent moves, family separations through deployments, and reintegration issues present unique challenges to military families. And whereas the Alamogordo Public Schools is committed to meeting the unique needs of all the students, especially those of military youth. Now, therefore, it will be resolved the Alamogordo Public Schools offers our gratitude and support for all the military personnel, their families, and veterans. And be it further resolved that the Alamogordo Public Schools will make every effort to connect military families with the resources they need.
And that issue passed. It should have passed. It better have passed. You can see the meeting in full by visiting the Alamogordo Public Schools Network YouTube channel. The New Mexico Department of Transportation Traffic Safety Division and Safer New Mexico Now brings an in-person car seat inspection clinic to Tularosa. I spoke with Dominic Galbadon, the Assistant Director for Safer New Mexico Now.
So every car seat clinic that we have in New Mexico, we schedule appointments or have walk-ins for families to go ahead and bring in their child with their car seat that they're looking to get inspected. What we do is we have our trained technicians go ahead and take a look at those car seats just to make sure they're installed correctly, educate the parent on any misuses that we find. We also look to make sure that it's not on the recall list and that it hasn't been involved in a crash. If we do find that the car seat is not suitable for any child, what we do is we replace the car seat with a brand new car seat for a $35 donation.
The car seat inspection clinic will be happening from 10 until 12 on Saturday, April 27th at the NMDOT Tularosa Patrol Yard, 7679 US 5470. This is a free educational event. For more information, please call 800-231-6145 or 505-856-6143. You can hear this interview in full on our YouTube channel. Well, today is Thursday. That means we hear from our good friend, Pastor Lauren Noble.
Good morning, 95.1 listeners. This is Pastor Lauren with our Thursday Thought. Many times I have been to Glacier National Park, and up on the top of the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main road through the park, you are way up above the tree line. Well, it is a beautiful view from there, and you can see over the trees and down into the valley, and on a clear day you can see for miles out into the distance. However, it is also pretty desolate up there. There is no vegetation, there is no trees, and really no wildlife except for maybe every once in a while you might see basically a stray mountain goat, but really nothing lives up there. And I think about the mountaintop experiences of life and how sometimes it is a beautiful view and it is good to escape and get up to the mountaintops, but life happens in the valley. The valley is where we grow. The valley is where we mature. So don't look too disdainfully at the valleys because they are part of growth and part of life. Let me say a prayer for us. Lord, help us to look upon life's mountaintops and valleys as part of growth and see the beauty of both of them and to grow in the times of the valleys so that we can enjoy the mountaintop, but also understand we cannot stay there. Amen. Until we meet up again, blessings to you.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
Local news from local perspectives from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Local sports, local events, and local happenings, and more. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Eastbound I-40 was closed east of Moriarty yesterday due to a deadly crash which sparked a fire. According to the Moriarty Fire Department, crews were dispatched around 10:30 a.m. yesterday to a fire and discovered the fire had started following a crash involving an RV and a semi. One person was pronounced dead on scene, the other taken to an Albuquerque hospital in critical condition. 40-year-old Albert Torres and 37-year-old Victoria Cabrales have been arrested by New Mexico State Police in connection with hiding illegal immigrants in Las Cruces neighborhood. On Friday, March 12th, an officer pulled over Torres and Cabrales. The officer noticed nervous behavior and inconsistent statements from the pair. Torres did not have a driver's license, and when he was requested to exit the vehicle, the officer saw drug paraphernalia fall from Torres' lap. He also found what appeared to be methamphetamine. Upon further inspection, they also found a stolen handgun. Torres and Cabrales were then arrested. Torres and Cabrales then told the officer that they were taking food to a residence which housed illegals, and that there were more firearms inside that home. At that residence, officers located 16 undocumented individuals locked into a room with no food, water, or communication devices. They were turned over to Border Patrol. Both Torres and Cabrales are now at the Donna Ana County Detention Center for their charges, which include receiving stolen property, possession of controlled substances, attempting to commit a felony, and transportation or possession of a firearm. Last week, U.S. Congressman Gabe Vasquez introduced a resolution to the U.S. House of Representatives denouncing Republican leadership for, quote, inaction on crucial immigration reform and border security measures, close quote. During a virtual press conference, Vasquez said the lack of meaningful legislative progress on border issues has negatively affected his district.
The impact of the broken immigration system is felt deeply in communities like mine, and the lack of action on this is not just a political issue, but it's a humanitarian issue.
The resolution was co-signed by 5 other U.S. reps, all Democratic Party members. Vasquez said the proposed resolution is a call to bring congressional Republicans to the negotiating table regarding border-related legislation.
There's a group of Congress people, I can tell you, both on the Democratic and Republican side, that are tired of the inaction on these issues. You know, I formed the Southwest Bipartisan Caucus with Congressman Juan Ciscomani, my neighbor to the west, in Arizona, because we wanted to be able to sit down and talk about sensible solutions that Republicans and Democrats could agree to.
The border needs secured. Period. We discussed just the other day how illegals entered a school while the school was in session. I disagree with Vasquez in his saying that Republicans are not acting on crucial immigration reform and border security measures. I see it as both parties are failing miserably. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced yesterday that she's going to call state legislators to a special session beginning on July 18th. The session will focus on public safety. The governor released a press statement which in part reads that the special session in July will enable us to deliver additional statutory changes that reduce the danger and risk New Mexico communities face every day. The best proposals for making our state safer will be under consideration, and she welcomes input from her colleagues in the legislature. This is going to be the 5th special session that MLG has called during her tenure. Senate Majority Leader Peter Wirth says the special session will give lawmakers more time to work through details on complex public safety bills. Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller says that gun violence continues to shatter communities. He wants legislators to create a safer New Mexico. You know, in my lifetime, I've never seen a gun commit an act of violence. What we have is a crime problem, not a gun problem. Sports and weather are next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, it just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 28 games for New Mexico softball today, including Capitan at Mesilla Valley Christian, Chaparral heads to Deming, and Tularosa goes to Mescalero. Wow. Go Lady Cats. There are 32 games for Mexico baseball today, including Deming at Chaparral, Tucumcari at Ruidoso, and Capitan comes to Tularosa. Wow. Go Wildcats. Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies, mostly cloudy tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow. Winds will be gusting as high as 23 miles per hour. Your high today in the basin, 85, low tonight 58, high tomorrow 87 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies today, winds gusting as high as 21 miles per hour. Increasing cloudiness tonight, winds gusting as high as 21. Mostly sunny tomorrow, winds gusting as high as 31. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 64. Low tonight of 44. High tomorrow, 64 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. That concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.